Namaskar. Welcome to the 40th episode of Guru Shishya Parampara, the journey we started since April this year. My Guruji used to love children, especially children who are working hard, learning properly, in a proper way, doing their riyaz sincerely to become a good musician one day. So I thought, why not start today's episode with one such little boy who is indeed very sincere, true to his art, doing his riyaz almost every day as far as I know, and would like to become a good musician one day. So let us meet with the young star, Ayushman Mojumdar.
Pranams everyone.
Ayushman, আমি জানি you have had a good breakfast this morning and probably a good lunch. So speak louder.
Hello, my
Yes,
pranams to everyone.
much better. This is much better. Right. Okay. So Ayushman, tell us about yourself. During this lockdown, you didn't have to go to school. So what did you do? Did you do the tabla practice even more during the lockdown? And what have you been doing? Tell us about yourself.
So the tabla, of course, has a higher priority, but I have been practicing more than what I used to do when there was school and everything. So there has been an increase in the time I've been devoting to tabla.
হুম। ওকে, আয়ুষ্মান একটা ছোট্ট ছেলে, সেই জন্য মাঝে মাঝেই ওকে বকাবকি ধমক ধমক সবই আমি দিই, আর সেই অধিকারটা আমার আছে। তো সেই জন্য ওকে ওর সাথে যখনই মাঝে মাঝে কথা হয় ওকে জিজ্ঞাসা করি কেমন রেয়াজ করছিস, কি করছিস, কারণ ওর বাবা হিন্দোল পণ্ডিত হিন্দোল মজুমদার, আপনারা অনেকেই জানেন, ইজ a very very well known tabla maestro, who is a very good friend of mine as well. And Hindol says that, Aishman, if he doesn't do your practice, you must give him a call and tell him off. So that's what I have been doing from London so far. So Aishman, how did you motivate yourself during this lockdown? Because the children of your age, I don't know what they have been doing. They probably have had friends, online chatting, online games, and all that. So did you only do your tabla practice, or you have done something of those as well? And what about your studies?
And studies are always there, and I have felt the lack of motivation at times about tabla, but whenever I felt that my father, he was always there to motivate me back or even sometimes scold me because I was not practicing. And
And what do you do in terms of your studies? Which grade are you in at the moment?
I'm in 11th grade, and
Okay.
and I'm a student of arts right now.
So you do arts, you do painting as well. Right. Okay, very good. That's very good. So what are you going to present to our viewers today, Ayushman?
I'll be playing Teen Tal. I'll
Hmm.
start with Pesh card and I'll move on to the other compositions which I will say as I proceed.
Okay. And I see there is somebody, one of our brothers, accompanying you on the harmonium as well. Would you like to introduce him to us, please?
Today with me we have Sajal Das ji on the harmonium. Namaskar.
Hello, Shajulda. Namaskar. Thank you for being here today. Okay, shall we listen to your first presentation, Ayushman? And also, please tell us a little bit about your gharana. Which gharana you come from? I know that you learned from your father, but is there any other gurus that you have been going to? Just tell us about that a little bit.
It has only been my father, and I have learned from three gharanas, namely Delhi, as it is the origin of tabla, and then I have learned from Farrukhabad gharana and Punjab gharana. My Dada Guruji Pandit Shankar Chatterjee, he happened to have learned from three maestros of Farrukhabad and Punjab gharana. He learned from Ustad Masid Khasab and Ustad Karamatullah Khasab of the Farrukhabad Gharana, and then he learned from Ustad Allah Rakha Khasak of the Punjab Gharana. So then my father learned from him and my father, and then he is passing me on the knowledge of the three gharanas.
Okay, so are you able to give us glimpse of all these three gharanas today?
Yes, I will try my best.
Sure, okay. So let us hear your wonderful tabla playing now.
Thank you. I will play a Gatangi Kada of the Furukawat Gharana now. I'll be playing a Tishrujati Kaida of the Farukabad Gharana. Now I'll be playing Khand Jati improvisation from the Punjab Gharana. Ideya of the Farukabad Gharana. I'll be playing Dhere Dhere Leela, composed by my father, Pandit Hindu Narinder. Got from the Padukabad Khadana. Getting in the Tirita, Hinta, Hela Kitakin, Tirhakin, Hati, Composition by my Dada Guruji Pandit Shankar Chatterjee. Din din na, din din na, din din. Tigde, tigde, tagte tigde takra, ye che thadigin tara. Tigde tagte, tigde thagin tigde takra, din din na, din din na. Another composition by my Dada Guruji Pandit Shankar Chatterjee. Din din na, din din na. Titakin na, titakin na, titakin na, titakin na. Tatakin na, tatakin na, tataha. Tidik tita tidik tita. Tidik 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 tita 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 tidik tita. धिदिक तितिग्धा धी ना गे ता धा धिदिक तितिग्धा धिदिक तितिग्धा तितिग्धा धिदिका धिदिक तितिग्धा धी ना गे ता धा धिदिक तितिग्धा धी ना गे ता धा धिदिक तितिग्धा धी ना गे ता धा। चक्रधार was the Masjid Khaja. Ding ding na, ding ding na, ding ding na na. Tadi na tadi kita na tadi kita ding ding. Kena dah kita kita ding ding na. Sini kena terus kita terus kena tiga kaki na. Tidak tadi tadi kan dah tadi 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 na tadi kita na kita kita ding ding. Kena dah kita kita tadi ding ding. Sini kena terus kita terus kena tiga kaki na. Tidak tadi tadi kan dah tadi tadi My last rendition, the Chakradhar was उसका दालना रखा खासा वो तो पंजाब घराना.
বাহ! Ayushman, this is the first time I have heard your solo, and I must say, I'm really, really very proud of you.
Thank you.
I would also like to thank your parents for their support, because I'm sure without their support and good teaching, you wouldn't have done this today. So I would really like to thank both your mother and your father as well. But there are so many comments from the audience. Let me just read it for you. Shahnaz Begum Bithi bolchen Abhinandan Ayushman. Gulam Ali saying all the best. Amit Shaha saying good luck. শাহনাজ বেগম পরে বলছেন আয়ুষ্মানকে আরেকটু দেখা গেলে ভালো হতো। আসলে তবলাটা দেখাতে গেলে আয়ুষ্মানকে একটু দূর থেকে দেখতেই হবে, কিন্তু ওর হাতের কাজটা দেখানোর জন্য তবলাটা দেখানো খুব দরকার ছিল, সেটা বোধহয় বুঝতে পেরেছেন। সৈয়দ হায়দার বলছেন বাহ ক্যা বাত হ্যায়। Sitkar Gupta is saying, Kya baat? Rupak Kulkarni, Rupak da bolchen Ayushman Baba. How sweet that is. দোদুল দোদুল রয়েছেন বাংলাদেশ থেকে সব সময়ের মতো বলছেন আয়ুষ্মান দীর্ঘজীবী হও এই শুভ কামনা রইল তবলায় হাতের কাজ বেশ নজর কাড়া সত্যি তাই আমিও দেখলাম আমি আগে কখনো ওর বাজনা এভাবে শুনিনি গৌরব দা থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ ফর বিং হিয়ার গৌরব দা ইজ হি হ্যাজ অল ইউর ব্লেসিংস ফর ইউ আয়ুষ্মান এশা ভাদুরী বলছেন বহুত अच्छे বেটা ঋতু ভট্টাচার্য হ্যাজ গট ব্লেসিংস ফর ইউ See, so many people have watched you, and I'm sure lot many more will do it in future. So all the very
Well,
best to
welcome
you,
once to
Ayushman.
everyone who have watched me play, and I need your blessings to be successful in the future in music.
I'm sure you will be. If Guruji was here today, he would have loved you. Because Guruji used to love children who are dedicated, who are passionate and hardworking. And I'm sure you have all these qualities. So all the very best to you, Baba. অনেক ভালো থাকিস আবার নিশ্চয়ই খুব শিগগিরই দেখা হবে কেমন আর সঙ্গে যিনি হারমোনিয়ামে রইলেন তাকে আবারও আমার পক্ষ থেকে অনেক শুভেচ্ছা ধন্যবাদ আয়ুষ্মান শিগগিরই দেখা হচ্ছে শিগগিরই কথা হচ্ছে ভালো থাকিস and it's wonderful playing once again we all are very proud of you on the next segment I'm pleased to have two of my Guru Bhais. Yesterday was Teachers' Day and today is the 40th episode of Guru Shishya Parampara. So I thought it would be best to have my Guru Bhais together here. We share the same Guru, the loving Appaji. So, and I also have one of our NEDs of Kalakars, the artistic director of SOAS South Asia Institute, Dr. Sangjukta Ghosh, with us today. So let's have a lovely musical morning. Sangjukta, Debapriya, আর সমন্বয়.
Okay, they're sort of sorting out.
হ্যালো দেবপ্রিয়, হ্যালো সমন্বয়,
আমাদের
কি
শোনা
খবর?
যাচ্ছে?
একদম পরিষ্কার শোনা যাচ্ছে।
এক মিনিট দিদি, আমি জাস্ট সাউন্ডটা আমাদের একটু কিছু ইস্যু হচ্ছে, এক মিনিট।
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, কোনো অসুবিধা নেই। অ্যাটলিস্ট এই সুযোগে আমাদের দর্শকরা দেখতে পাচ্ছেন ব্যাক স্টেজে আরো অনেক কিছু হয়। ব্যাক স্টেজে সাউন্ড ঠিক করা হয়, ব্যাক স্টেজে আমরা মাঝে মাঝে বসে মেকআপ ঠিক করি, অনেক কিছু হয়। তারপরেই না আমরা স্টেজে আসি, তো এগুলোও তো একটু সবার জানা দরকার। সংযুক্তা বলো, তোমার সাথে কথা বলি ততক্ষণ।
Yeah, I'm very excited today because Priya and we had a previous session and there were lots of unfinished talks. So I'm so excited to see them again. And this is going to be what, like a pre-pujo special?
Absolutely.
There is puja in the air.
It's still a month to go, but still I can feel the puja environment around.
And do you want to say a little bit about what's going on with Kalakar and lots of preparations for the new puja special that is coming up as well? So maybe just say a little bit.
হ্যাঁ, সমন্বয় দেবপ্রিয়, তোদের দিকে সাউন্ডটা কি একটু মিউট করে নিবি এখন, নাকি ঠিক হয়েছে? সর্টেড আউট?
শোনা যাচ্ছে?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, শোনা যাচ্ছে, শোনা যাচ্ছে। Okay, thank you so much again for joining us. We are eagerly waiting to hear. There are lots to catch up since the last time.
Yes, our pleasure to be here.
Namaskar again, Devapriya and Savanya. It's just been a fantastic session, the one we had before. And is my sound clear?
It is absolutely clear.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very clear.
Sangjukta had loads of questions today, so I thought I'll take a back step. I would just listen to the music and I'll let Sangjukta to ask all the questions today, all right?
No, I'm not going to ask too many questions and bore them. I think let's start with some music. That would be
absolutely.
Okay, So we are ready to answer definitely the questions, and it would be a pleasure, to share thoughts and definitely whatever journey we have
Mm.
come through till now. So today we have a surprise, and we are going to do a Katyayani Stuti, and that is definitely with Surbahar, not sitar.
Okay.
So we start with Surbahar and this Katyayani Stuti, and that is based on
Then
Rag.
we will shift to sitar.
Yes, then we will shift to sitar. Is it
Right.
okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is set on primarily Dhani. So we start with that, and then move on to the different other sections. As it is on Goddess Durga, and this Katyayani Stuti is actually composed. I mean, it was uh, chanted by Sri Ramchandra himself before he went to the fight.
Okay.
And so this is a very good situation to do that stuti, I'm sure, and let Goddess listen to us. So
Yeah.
you whosoever are
Let's set the
here,
festive mood.
yes,
Thank
they
you.
can play with us. Okay. Yeah, we'll just check with this microphone. Just tell us that if the sound is okay. Yeah. Sound, you are getting the sound?
Sound is good.
Continue control. Create a creating control. नमस्ते त्रिजगद्वन्दे सङ्ग्रामे जगदाय प्रसीद विजयं देहि कात्यायनि नमोऽस्तु ते सर्वशक्तिमयी दुष्टरिपुनिग्रहकारिणि दुष्टशृङ्गिणि सङ्ग्रामे जयं देहि नमोस्तुते। त्वमेक परमा शक्ति सर्वभूतेष्वस्थिता दुष्टं संहर संग्रामे जयं देहि नमोस्तुते। रणप्रिये रक्तभक्षे मांसभक्षणाकारिणि प्रपन्नार्तिहरे युद्धे जयं देहि नमोस्तुते। खट्वांगशिखरे मुण्डमालाद्युतितरविग्रहे ये त्वां स्मरन्ति दुर्गेषु तेषां दुःखहरा भव। तत्पादपङ्कजैर्दयं नमस्ते शरणाप्रिये विनाशय रणे शत्रून् जयं देहि नमोऽस्तु ते। अचिन्त्य विक्रमे अचिन्त्य रूप सौन्दर्य शालिनि अचिन्त्य चरिते अचिन्त्य जयं देहि नमोऽस्तु ते। त्वां स्मरन्ति दुर्गेषु देवी दुर्गविनाशिनी नावशिदन्ति दुर्गेषु जयं देहि नमोऽस्तु ते। शरण्ये गिरिकन्ये जयं देहि नमोऽस्तु ते। प्रसन्नवदने चण्डी चण्डासुरविमर्दिनि संग्रामे विजयं देहि शत्रून् जहि नमोऽस्तु ते। रक्ताक्षी रक्तदशने रक्तचर्चितगात्रके रक्तबीजनिहन्त्री त्वं जयं देहि नमोऽस्तु ते। निशुम्भ संहन्त्री विश्वकर्त्री सुरेश्वरी जहि शत्रून् रणे नित्यं जयं देहि नमोऽस्तु ते। भवान्येते जगत्सर्वं त्वं पालयसि सर्वदा रक्ष विश्वमिदं मातर हत्वैतान् दुष्टराक्षसान् त्वं हि सर्वगता शक्तिर्दुष्टमर्दनकारिणी प्रसीद जगता मातर जयं देहि नमोस्तुते। दुर्वृत्तवृन्ददमनि दुर्वृत्तवृन्ददमनि सद्वृत्तपरिपालिनि निपातय रणशत्रुञ्जय देहि नमोऽस्तु ते। कात्यायनी जगन्मात प्रपन्नाति हरे शिवे कात्यायनी जगन्मात प्रपन्नाति हरे शिवे संग्रामे विजयं देहि। संग्राम विजय देहि संग्राम विजय देहि संग्राम विजय देहि भयभ्य पाहि सर्वदा। दुर्वृत्तवृन्ददमनि सद्वृत्तपरिपालिनि निपातय रणे शत्रुञ्जय देहि नमोऽस्तु ते। कात्यायनी जगन्मात प्रपन्नाति हरे शिवे संग्राम विजयं देहि विजयं देहि विजयं देहि भयभ्य पाहि सर्वदा। विजय देहि Thank you.
থ্যাংক ইউ দেবপ্রিয় সমন্বয়। একটু সাউন্ডটা মনে হয় তানপুরাটা যদি তোদের পেছন থেকে আসে ভালো হয়, কেননা যেটা হয় আমাদের এই অনলাইনে একটু প্রবলেম হয়, যেটা স্বপন সরকার বলছেন একটা মেটালিক সাউন্ড আসছে। তো আমার মনে হচ্ছে আর একটু সাউন্ডটা আরেকটু ঠিক করে নিতে পারলে মনে হয় আরো ভালো হতো। তো দেখি এর পরের গানটা শুনলে বুঝতে পারবো। তো এই সময় সংযুক্তা তুমি কিছু জিজ্ঞেস করতে চাও আমাদের?
Yeah, I mean, you devised this specially for this show, or you were already doing this as an ode to
We are preparing it.
Yeah.
But this was just an experiment for this show, specially.
Mm.
But Samanvay has been playing Surbahar for a while, definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
But, maybe he hasn't performed it on stage, but he has been playing since a few years now.
Okay. So, when you say it's an experiment, can you say a little bit more about the kind of experiments you're doing? Because I'm very interested in the context of a discussion we've already had on world music. So, world music is something that is definitely your domain. You've been performing in so many festivals, performing in so many international festivals, and traveling so much. So I just wondered, if you presented something to the Western audience, what has been the response so far, and how you've devised it in the context of world music? So how do you see these things in the context of world music? And what are the other things you're doing as well? So
See, we call it world music nowadays, but actually this is, very much core of Indian classical music, right?
mhm.
So this the style is based on Dhrupadang, and Surbar is not a new instrument or not a new experiment. So a lot of artists they have played before also, and now I'm doing it. Rather, the experiment is doing me with Surbar and in vocal with Dev, because in vocal to sing in G sharp is not an easy thing for male vocalist, right?
Mm.
So that's the experiment, and that's the challenge we are facing, and we are trying to overcome that challenge together.
And so far, world music is concerned, as you said, about what we have been actually doing with the music. Nothing means as our gurus and the seniors have done so much of work for this music already. We just have to click the right moment and the right people at the right space. That's all. Yes, but what we do, we try to connect. We like some sort of interactive sessions with audience always. Even when we do on the stage thing, we try to explain a bit about what we are going to do, what is the purpose behind this. This
Yeah.
is this is a medium definitely, and voice is a genre, and sitar is another thing. But there is another genre which we are representing, that is Indian classical music. So why we are doing these things? What are the elements which we are actually
Yeah.
putting forth to make this complete? And how these elements actually decorate and how these elements enhances, the power of this age-old tradition. What is the purpose? What is the story behind this? And why every rag has got its own character, every composition has got its own individuality or something to say. Because what we have learned from Appaji and before her also from other gurus in different about different aspects. So everything has got a dual meaning. Means there is a meaning which we see that okay, this is the literary explanation of the thing, but the context is something different, which is quite deep.
Yeah, the
And
whole Indian art and culture, it's in broader aspect is related to spirituality at the end, right?
Yeah.
So music is, big manifestation of that, big portray of that.
Yeah, I mean, my collateral question is really about your interest in spirituality, and you've really worked on different levels here. So when you say go to Australia, you're interested in the indigenous spirituality of that region, and
yes,
similarly, I feel that there's an interesting dialogue around spirituality now in the realm of world music, and this is experimental. It's also to delve a little bit deeper into the languages, understanding the folk tradition, and really to contextualize different kinds of folk. This is also a trend in world music, as we call it, rather than just remaining in the classical domain. So, do you feel there is a lot of crossover in your own music? Looking at the spirituality of other countries, are you also delving like that in your own music? So that's say if you're traveling somewhere and you're really looking at that region's spirituality as well, and then trying to contextualize, because this whole Devi Durga thing, when I've done before, there was a lot of Middle Eastern interest as well. I noticed in the invocation of Durga, because it's historically Durga has traveled, which is not something a lot of people talk about. Um,
Yes, true.
and the form of the goddess changes across the subcontinent as well. So it's not like it's not restricted to certain regions of South Asia with a certain cult. So it's not really just about Hinduism here. And I feel, because there are connections with Turkish goddess and so forth, and there's a lot of historical artifacts that will prove this kind of trend and genealogy as well. So I was interested whether how religion and spirituality coalesces in your music, and obviously you are but having lived and groomed in Varanasi, one of the oldest cities, that element is very strong in your music. So how you're working with different layers of spirituality in the music, or you're really in the more classical domain, which is more specific. So it's just how you're playing it, because you're experimenting, and I just wondered if these things are coming and crossing your mind as well.
Yes,
Yeah,
always. That
yeah.
does, because when we meet a lot of people, definitely we try to interact about the understanding of the beauty of this nature, which is very important. Once you go and once you travel a lot amongst, because every space, as I said, that every space has its own story behind it.
Mm,
So that impacts, because we have felt this whenever we go to a certain place and we try to do a certain kind of music. Means if something is set in your mind, but the whole that space, that place where we go and where we stay, or and when we reach people out there and meet and talk, we get some sort of vibes that okay, this would be quite heavy for them, or this would be lighter for them. So
mm,
accordingly, sometimes we feel like we change it. Definitely.
And wherever you go, we are made of the same five elements
mm,
for the world, right? The world is all about energies and all that five elements.
Yes.
So the elemental thing is common everywhere. So now it depends spiritually how you explain those
mm,
in different subjects, right? But inside, you express what you feel. Inside the feeling, I think it's all very much linked and connected.
mm.
So when you say religion, it's a total altogether. It's a different topic. But if you say spirituality, so
Mm.
it's, I think the whole world is connected to through that term.
And through
Yeah.
that sentiment,
And how
that
does that come out in music, and how does that come out in experiments and fusion or world music? That's always been a large terrain anyway. So
yeah.
when you're performing, the two of you, do you pick? I mean, what I'm asking is, if you're picking on something that is very specific. So let's hear something that you feel you can connect spiritually. That again is, as you said, there are five elements that connect across the world. Is there anything specific you can bring out today that we can think of? Or, or I
Yes,
leave it to
actually,
you. If you thought of something specific for the show, that's fine also.
I think as we spoke earlier, that's why we started with this Katyayani Stuti. But definitely, as I said, that everything, every beauty has something to say. So this is definitely not in the context of what you said, but it has got a role. So
Mm,
we are trying to do a composition which we learned from Appaji, but that's in Gaur Sarang. So that is also called, that can be regarded as a tap khayal also. But
Hmm.
Appaji said that this is a bandish which you can present as a Drut bandish or a tap khayal. So, what it says, "Oh yaar nazar nahi aanda, tu dekhan da jiya chanda."
Yeah.
So, yar to her, to means what she induced, that yar is not the yar of तुम लोग जैसे कहते हो कि यार दोस्ती या कोई प्रेमी ऐसा नहीं है. तो to
This
me,
year is in the broader aspect.
yes, that yar is up there. So he is the ultimate yar, and the Almighty is the ultimate yar. So if you take according to Gita, or if you read anything, that ultimate Purush is the Lord, and whether it's a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. We all have got that Prakriti's impact. We all have that feminine aspect in us, and we are trying to meet the Supreme Lord, which we call the Purush, right? So this bandish also represents something like that, but it's a very, and why it says that Avani ki tori raah takatu hu. So you see, Avani ki tori raah takatu hu. So I am always waiting for you,
Hmm.
always waiting for you, and uh, but I'm not getting a glimpse of you at all. Why is it so? And you see, you will just witness how the bandish is so intricate and so beautifully explained, and we will try to do justice with that. So we learned it from her,
Sure.
but she has given a lot of insight with the simple bandish, though it would be sounding very romantic, but the ultimate message is something else.
Yeah.
So let's
Well,
start with
I'm glad you've zeroed into that, because Girija Devi is always here in my mind when I'm even putting the questions through, because she was
yes,
very much into exposition of
yeah,
spirituality
yeah,
in
and she
many
was
ways, and she
actually,
engages.
yes, and she would always dominantly say that what you talk about Sufism, this is all Sufism all about. We
Yeah.
सिर्फ चंद शायरी पढ़ देना, चंद अल्फाज बोल के हम सूफीज्म नहीं दिखाते हैं. सूफीज्म हर एक चीज में है. इन ठुमरियों में that's all Sufism is there, because we forget that part. So we just demonstrate a little bit of that God Saran thing, and
How this sound
is this sound okay? Means this sound the natural one, or should we put the microphone again on?
Natural sound is better, I think, Devapriyo.
This is better. Okay.
Yeah, natural sound is better, I think.
okay.
yaar nazar nahi aandave, oh yaar nazar nahi aandave. Tu dekhan rajiya chada manu, oh yaar nazar nahi aandave. Oh, Oh yaar, oh yaar, nazar aandave, tu dekhan rajiya chada manu, oh yaar nazar aandave. Yaar, yaar, जिया चादा तू देखना आवन की तोरी रात तकत हूँ आवन की तोरी रात तकत हूँ ये तोरी तुम देखना
বিউটিফুল। দেবপ্রিয়, আমি বেশ কিছু কমেন্টস পাচ্ছি অডিয়েন্সের
আচ্ছা।
থেকে সাউন্ড নিয়ে। তোর কাছে কি আর কোনো মাইক্রোফোন বা কিছু আমরা ট্রাই করতে পারি কি? আছে কি যেটা খুব চট করে লাগিয়ে নেওয়া যাবে? কেননা আমি যা এখানে কমেন্ট দেখছি বলছেন যে মেটালিক
আমি
সাউন্ড
জানি না,
আসছে।
আমরা তো এখন ন্যাচারাল সাউন্ডেই করছি। তখন মাইক্রোফোন ছিল,
স্টিম ইয়ার্ডে তো দিদি
হ্যাঁ।
একটু মেটালিক সাউন্ড আসে, স্টিম ইয়ার্ড বা জুমে
একটু হালকা হয় বোধহয়।
স্পেশালি এটা আসবে ইনস্ট্রুমেন্ট হলে তখনই আসে এটা।
হ্যাঁ।
ভোকালে আসে না,
সেটাই
ইনস্ট্রুমেন্টালি
ইনস্ট্রুমেন্ট
সাউন্ড
বাজলে
আসবেই,
বলি
যে
আমি।
আপনি যে মাইকই লাগান।
হ্যাঁ, আমাদের অডিয়েন্সের জন্য বলি, এটা তো বুঝতেই পারেন আপনারা যে অনলাইনে কিছুটা আমাদের নানা রকমের সমস্যা থাকেই। তো তারপরেও শিল্পীরা যা বাজাচ্ছেন, যা গাইছেন, সেটা নিশ্চয়ই আপনাদের মন ভরিয়ে দিচ্ছে। একটু না হয় সাউন্ডের প্রবলেম হলোই, লকডাউনে তো অনেক রকম অসুবিধাই হয়েছে আমাদের, তাই না? তো ওইটাকে মানিয়ে নিয়ে গান বাজনা করতে হচ্ছে। তো ঠিক আছে, আমরা এরপরে কি শুনবো, নাকি তোমার আরো কোনো প্রশ্ন আছে সংযুক্ত? এখানে অনেক সুন্দর সুন্দর কমেন্টস আছে, আমি একটু সেগুলো পড়ে দিই। আই শিওর দেবপ্রিয় সমন্বয় দুজনেরই খুব ভালো লাগবে। শিল্পী চ্যাটার্জি প্রণাম জানিয়েছেন দুজনকে। রনিতা চৌধুরী, অন্তন মুখার্জি, শাহনাজ বেগম বিথি খুব সুন্দর করে লিখেছেন, বিভিন্ন সময়ের বিভিন্ন দেশ থেকে সবাইকে একই সুরে বাঁধা, তা সে সুরবাহার বা তবলার লহরীতে খুবই কঠিন কাজ। যারা সেলফোন হাতে নিয়ে একত্রীভূত হচ্ছি মনের খোরাক জোগাবার জন্য, সেই সুযোগটি করে দেবার জন্য কালাকার আর্টস এবং আনন্দধারা আর্টসকে ধন্যবাদ দিতেই হয়। সত্যি এই দুটো ছাড়া আর কোনো লাইভ এভাবে টানে না। যদিও আনন্দধারার কাজ অন্য ধরনের, ওরা বাংলা গান নিয়ে কাজ করে এবং কালাকার মেইনলি হিন্দুস্তানি শাস্ত্রীয় সঙ্গীত নিয়ে। তবু আপনার ভালো লাগছে জেনে অনেক ধন্যবাদ বিথি। স্বপন সরকার বলছিলেন মেটালিক সাউন্ডের কথা, আর দোদুল বলছেন বাংলাদেশ থেকে সুরবাহার থেকে সেতার। বাহ, চমৎকার, জমবে আশা করি। সুরবাহার কেন খুব কম বাজানো হয় তা জানি না। এই প্রশ্নের উত্তর কি সমন্বয় তুই দিতে পারিস? সুরবাহার কেন কম বাজানো হয় সেতারের থেকে?
এক তো সেতারে মোস্টলি এখন যে ধারাটা চলে এসছে, খেয়াল অঙ্গের ধারা চলে এসছে।
হুম।
একজন মাইয়ার ধারা না, মোস্টলি খেয়াল অঙ্গের ধারাতেই চলে এসছে সেতার। তো সুরবাহারটা খেয়াল অঙ্গে কমই বাজে বা কমই শোনা যায়, যদিও বলাটা আমার কাছে ঠিক না, ইটাওয়াতে অনেক কি সুরবাহার বাজিয়ে গেছেন সবাই, হ্যাঁ এখনো বাজাচ্ছেন, কিন্তু তবুও সুরবাহার বলে একটা খুব ধ্রুপদ অঙ্গের কথা মাথায় আসে সবসময়, পিনকারের যে অঙ্গ, তো সেই অঙ্গের আমার মনে হয় প্রচলনটা আস্তে আস্তে কমে যাচ্ছে খুবই।
আচ্ছা।
এটা একটা কথা। আর দ্বিতীয় কথা যে সুরবাহার যে যন্ত্রটা, তার একটা যে চেহারা বা সাইজ আকৃতি, তার উপরে অনেকটা কিছু ডিপেন্ড করে। মানে আপনি যদি আমার যন্ত্রটা পুরো দেখে থাকেন বা পুরো দেখেন, ইটস বেসিক্যালি হিউজ ইনস্ট্রুমেন্ট, অলমোস্ট মানে চওড়াতে এবং তার ব্যাপ্তিতে, তার ওয়েট অলমোস্ট লাইক এ বিন অ্যাকচুয়ালি, রুদ্রবীণ। তো সেই জন্য সেই কারণেও প্লাস এখন তো কমিউনিকেশন যতই ভালো হোক, এই বড় ইনস্ট্রুমেন্ট গুলো এগুলো খুব ফ্রেজাইল ইনস্ট্রুমেন্ট, সো দে আর হার্ড টু হ্যান্ডেল এন্ড হার্ড টু ক্যারি অল দ্য টাইম।
আচ্ছা।
তো সেই জন্য সেতারের ক্ষেত্রে সেতারের অ্যাকসেপ্টেন্স বা সেতারের এটা অনেক বেশি। সেই কারণেই হয়তো ধীরে ধীরে আস্তে আস্তে সুরবার, যেমন বিন বিন যেহেতু রুদ্রবীণ আমরা খুবই কম শুনতে পাই, জাস্ট ডিউ টু দিস, এত বড় একটা ইনস্ট্রুমেন্ট, প্লাস দিস ইনস্ট্রুমেন্টস আর ভেরি ডেলিকেট, ভেরি ফ্রেজাইল।
নিয়ে যাওয়া আসা করাটাও অনেক সময় খুব সমস্যা হয়ে
যাওয়া
যায়।
আসা করাটাও সাইজের জন্য, ওভার সাইজের জন্য এবং ফ্রেজাইলিটির জন্য খুব মানে মুশকিল। এগুলোই কারণ মনে হয়, আদার দেন আই ডোন্ট থিংক দেয়ার ইজ এনি লজিক্যাল কজ বিহাইন্ড ইট।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, কোনো প্রশ্ন আছে সংযুক্তা তোমার?
হ্যাঁ, মানে প্রশ্ন তো সবসময় থাকে,
কিন্তু গানও শুনতে হবে আজকে।
গানও শুনতে হবে, এক্স্যাক্টলি। সো জাস্ট a very quick touch, মানে when you are performing, a lot of the times what intrigues people, is this understanding that how does classical song then pick up with sitar, and you have created this real originality by bringing the two together. And I'm sure you have your moments of struggle just as you come up with fine compositions. The two of you working all the time, the sitar and the song. So some of us who are not aware of many of the technicalities of how it works, we're just very curious. This combination of the sitar and your singing. I've asked this before. This is not just about your friendship. It's really an imagination that is working here to bring the two together. So just a little comment on that, and then we can go back to the two of
See,
you.
we are practicing since 2002, I think.
Yeah.
So there is, I mean, always a positive, outcome of practicing together, whatsoever the form is, or whatsoever the instruments are. So there is this positive effect of practice, doing riyaz together for hours. And as you know,
You
the
had
foundation
different
is
gurus. You had different gurus, though, didn't you? Your
even,
music.
yeah, we were under different gurus then. We were
Yeah.
under different gurus then, but we did riyaz together for hours and for days and years. And we just enjoyed the music, and we just try to take, from each other the nuances.
And even after have been practicing so many years, the most important key which I would like to say here, we are friends, definitely, that's okay.
Yeah.
But the mutual respect which we grew, which grown up inside us for each other, that's also matter. We know where to stop. We don't fight.
And
So
and
that is where
that's what the question is. The technicalities of working with where your modulation, your improvisation, the ups and downs of singing with the ups and downs of sitar. The synchronizing is not automatic. There are struggles here as well between the sitar and the vocal. So I was keen to know that when you're working, you obviously have that you have to come out with some kind of synchronization.
Yes,
So is it something that is always working in your heads, or is it something by now it's all coming out tremendously natural, so that as soon as we hear Devapriya Samanvaya, we know that this is a unique presentation, this is going to be a unique genre? So do you struggle with work?
now what is coming out, it's totally natural.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the thing is already made,
Mm.
and we just give the touch in it. That's all.
Mm.
Even if in editing we do those fade in and fade out.
Yeah.
So even if someone has already got in between what you are doing there, or development or improvising or whatever, so now I can fade it out gradually. So that
Mm.
control, that we definitely worked on. That okay means it's not set something that okay, I'm singing, so you would be sitting idle and you won't be doing something, and you are
Yeah.
playing, so I have to sit idle. No, if my mood comes, I can go get in. So I have to understand, okay, so this is my time to fade out. But I don't stop just of a while. Okay, now he has entered, so I have to be just
Yeah.
put a full.
See, that's
No.
the interesting bit here, isn't it?
Yes, so
Yeah,
that is the
this is
compliment.
the fruit. This is the fruit what we are sharing these days. It's the religious sessions and practice and riyaz together for last 18 years.
Mm. Okay. Nice.
So I
And
think that
I'd
way.
like to know, Debapriya Shamonnoy, because I believe when the lockdown started, you both were in America,
Right.
yes,
isn't it? You were in America because that's when you joined us to one of our
yes,
sessions. So that
yeah.
time was difficult. You didn't know when you were going back to your families in India,
Yeah.
so you are in America. So very uncertain period that time we had. And you two being there together, did you do any new composition that time, thinking of that uncertainty, whether and when you'll be able to get back to your families, see your children and all that? Something new came up that time?
Compositionally, I won't say that it did, but yes, so far ideas, thoughts, definitely we did a lot, and I means we have worked on a lot of compositions, on our compositions also. So if you wish, I can just present a glimpse of that.
I would love to
And
listen.
yes, why not? So and but we did a lot of music and a lot of interactive things together,
Mm.
discussing a lot of things that okay, in future what we can do and what we can actually think of. So that was a good time. Is that I would say, means I know people have gone through a lot, but that lockdown really helped us to be confined in some place without getting any sort of distraction.
In a way, we can say that we enjoyed that lockdown period for 3 months there because we were really in safe hands.
Yes,
Mm.
We stayed with the Vedanta Society of Portland
yes.
and with very
Swami Chandrasekharan.
saintly Swami Chandrasekharanandaji,
Yes.
who always boosted our moral there, that this is not the time. I mean, this is the time. Maybe you are facing some problems, but this will go over. So nothing is constant in this world.
You do your music, that's all. And Ma will take care of you. You needn't to think about anything else. And that happened.
And where we
That
did
happened.
stay, it's a beautiful ashram with
Yes.
big compound. We did not even need to go out. It's such big the compound is, full of flowers and fruits and
Nature.
gardens, big gardens, nature. So we enjoyed it totally.
And
And especially these days, the connectivity, the communication and connectivity is so good due to internet, right?
yes, yeah,
So you don't feel like detached with your family and friends also.
yeah.
So you can share every moment details with your family, with your friends, that where you are, how you are, what you're doing. So that's why altogether, though 15 of our concerts got cancelled in US, and 4 were there in England also. So, but that's it's okay. It may happen sometime. Life is full of surprises and ups and downs.
Okay, so are you going to listen to your
Something that you
composition?
worked out there
Mm.
in America, and since you've been together, and obviously you're working against a lot of things, against a lot of odds. But what have you brought out? But just, I think you were trying to finish something, Devapriya, about working together, and it's really, the question was that there is an expectation you're going to come out synchronized, but when you're practicing and when you are doing things, then
Yes.
I was just interested in the intricacies of how you work your way with the singing, with the instrument, and the changes and the improvisations you work on. So you were saying something about,
Yes, all the time you cannot go parallel.
yeah,
Sometimes you have to complement, sometimes you have to take another path also, and that is important too. That
mm,
okay, you go this way, I can come and join you from that
mm,
path also. So sometimes it happened a lot of time on stage that okay, he got into something else and I'm improvising something. So, but if I just stop there, it would sound different. So I have to very, 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 attentive to my thing which I'm developing because he plays that complementing
yes,
at the time in the same way.
yeah,
My student, his wife Sneha, once she did a small clip with him, and she was saying me, "Deoprita, tumi ki kore gao or সাথে এভাবে?" So I said, "Why?" So he said, "It's completely a different thing, and
yeah,
I
yeah,
can feel that anybody can go Beshur anytime because he will attract the sound. Means the sound
yeah,
will attract to us." So I said, "Okay, means that is my dhyan."
Because every now and then you will listen that we do parallel, musical progressions.
Yes.
mm, mm,
And these parallel musical progressions, they sit very much in place, in proper, in synchronization.
mm,
Because nothing is composed now. When we improvise, it's not only the composition which we sing or play or the rag we know, okay, this is
mm,
what, but when we go into the improvisation, there is nothing set we do. Means
yes,
we can share with the name of our gurus and God
Because
that
most of
mm,
the duet, you'll find that when someone's singing or playing, the other person is a little bit muted, then he finishes, then he joins, like
yeah,
this. But
yeah.
two parallel progressions together.
Well, that's your selling point, isn't it? That's your unique genre that you've created. And I'm
yeah.
just wanting to dig into that, and I've got my answer. Let's hear something now. Something that you created in America. Let's hear that.
Okay, doing some on Vrindavani Saran. So this is a composition which I wrote, and we made something on that in a different way. So we are just trying to put that across.
मधुर सुर सारंगन छेड़ो काना मधुर सुर सारंगन छेड़ो काना मन बावर नावकत घरवा मधुर सुर सारंगन छेड़ो काना मधुर सुर सारंगन छेड़ो काना मन बावर नावकत घरवा मधुर सुर सारंगन छेड़ो काना मधुर ला मधुर सुर सारंगन छेड़ो देवहर भयो बड़ी जात घटक काज देवहर भयो देवहर भयो देवहर भयो बड़ी जात घटक काज का करूं बस में नहीं चितवा का करूं का करूं का करूं का करूं का करूं का करूं गा करूं रे गा करूं बस में नहीं चितवा दौड़ी जात वृंदावन और गाड़ी देता घटक भैरन लुगवा मधुर सारंगन छेड़ो कान मधुर सुर सारंगन छेड़ो कान मधुर सुर सारंगन छेड़ो पानी भाषा नी रे रे पानी भाषा नी बाबा वानी नी पापा वारे पावारे मा रे 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 मधुर पासा नी रे मामा रे 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 बाबा रे रे पा रे रे नी ता नी बाबा वानी नी बाबा मारे मा रे मा रे पापा मा पापा रे मा रे मामा रे रे पापा रे रे नी नी पानी मा बाबा नी नी पानी बारी नी 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 सा नी 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 पापा मारे मा रे मा रे मा पानी नी दा रे मा पानी नी दा मधुर सुर सारंगन छेड़ो कान मधुर सुर सारंगन छेड़ो छेड़ो गान मधुर सुर सारंगन छेड़ो का मन बाबर नाम धरवा मधुर सुर सारंगन छेड़ो मधुर धुर तारंग छेड़ो कान्हा
Bah, beautiful. Sangyukta, would you like to ask them any more questions, or shall we
We
go to
can
music straight?
just try and see the different gharanas that you've obviously been interested in and you've been working on, especially to talk of the Banaras Gharana and the Lucknow Gharana, and how you want to maybe something for our audience from those Gharanas, if you want anything to say about it, given your own training, given your own journeys, and anything particular from those Gharanas, if you would like to say, that would be great.
Yes, definitely. So far, Banaras is concerned, Banaras has got all the elements of, from Dhupad Dhama to Khayal, Tappa, Tap Khayal.
Charo Patki Gaiki, it's called
Mhm.
in Banaras.
Mhm.
So,
Because there is Dhupad Dhamar, there is Tappa Tap
Hmm.
Khayal, there is Thumri Dadra, and there is, Khayal and Chand Prabandh, Mata Parmata, whatever. These things, Dharu and all.
so and the person we would call the goddess actually. So her name also goes with this event, Girija Devi. So we all
Hmm.
know and how she was like, and Chandradi is there, so she knows how powerful, how loving at the same time she was. So when we learned in Banaras that the power and the loving elements, there should be a proper merge all the time, very properly. You know, you need to know how to balance where when there is if you know to scold, you need to love. If you know the impact of power, you know the power. You know the impact of tenderness, the softness. So all the time, that she we would say that she always tried to induce that inside her students, definitely her audience and all. So now it's up to us what justice we could do with that. But whatever we think of and we could actually feel of, means see what she did. She made us see things, made us means to change the whole perception, whole approach towards music inside us. These are the technical things. You must have to be very much technically smart, learned, and strong to deliver those. But at the same
Yeah,
time, you need to know how to balance the technical aspects to enrich your aesthetic, yourself. If there is some, so she knew how to bring out that, like from if there is, we call it जैसे कोयले की छाई के नीचे से आप खदान निकाल के लाओ, खदान से अच्छा हीरा निकाल के लाओ. So if every human being has got that innate quality, it is inside. Sometimes it doesn't come out, and sometimes it does naturally. So she had got that capacity to wipe off all those dirts and to bring out that. So now you
yeah,
have to nurture. So we are definitely fortunate to.
But before everything, we must say that one must, I must say, one must learn for 10 to 12 years under a certain gharana
Yes.
before switching others. Right?
Hmm.
Nowadays, what
Absolutely.
happens that you learn in a couple of years you learn in this gharana, then in a couple of years you learn that gharana, and then you
Yeah.
didn't like it, then you change again like that.
Yeah.
This shouldn't be the way.
Yeah.
At least 10 to 12 years you learn in a certain gharana and you make your foundation very right. You make yourself technically very proficient and skillful at the same time, because whatever aesthetical expression, aesthetical execution you have to do, for behind that the skill is the most important factor.
Yes. So
If you don't
yeah.
have the skill right and the proper technique right, then it's very hard to express through your medium, right? That may be your voice or any instrument, maybe sitar, sarod, whatever. If you don't have the right technique and right understanding under certain gharana for, I mean, for at least a time period of 10, 12, 15 years, maybe.
And that's why Appaji always said that she never claimed that, okay, देखो मैंने कैसे इनको तैयार किया. She always said they came with good learning. ये तैयार होके आए थे. So she always praised our gurus, like he learned with Pandit Manilal Lagji, Pandit
Like I
Shyamacharya ji.
learned in 5 different gharanas, right?
Yeah.
Shenia, Bishnupur, then Agra, and last Banaras, 4 gharanas. But I'm learning since last 35 years. So if you take a very simple mathematics, so I have spent almost 9-10 years over on single gharana. So that's very much needed. Time and patience is very much needed.
Yes. So likewise, I did learn with Pandit Shamresh Chaudhary ji, and also I went to Pandit Vijay Kisru ji. So 14, 15 years, and then I learned with Vijay Kisru ji for 4, 5 years, and then in between, then Appaji definitely for a long 11 years. So it is like that. It's a process. It's a process. Means,
Yeah, it is a process. So bringing everything together now, and then you obviously want to present something from the Banaras Gharana right now, or anything
yes, yeah,
you have in
yeah,
mind. Yeah,
yeah.
that would be good.
This is a country. Chumri actually the country style, but it's called the other way. We can call it. It's Chumri.
बैठे सोचे ब्रज बाम, सुनो लागे मोरे धाम, नाए आए घनश्याम, घेर आए बदरी, मोरे धाम। सोचे ब्रजवान, बैठे सोचे सुनो सुनो लागे मोरे धाम, नहीं 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 आए, नहीं नहीं आए, घनश्याम घेर आई बदरी, घेरी आए 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 सावन के बहार, सावन के बहार आए। आए आए सावन के सावन के सावन के बहार। बोले मोरवा पुकार, मोरवा पुकार, बोले मोरवा पुकार। आए बूंदन फुहार, बूंदन आए बूंदन बूंदन फुहार आए। क्या बात। आए बूंदन फुहार, घेर आए बदरे, बैठे सोचे ब्रज बाम। Just notice every lyrics, every words which we are singing, and how we are trying to make those.
Yeah.
You know, so and so that's the beauty of this thing. That's the beauty which when she gave us. We are trying to do that. So कान्हा हमें बिसरा रहे सौतन लुभाए रहे 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 सौतन लुभाए रहे रहे सौतन लुभाए करो कौन उपाय कु- कौन कौन करो कौन उपाय करूं कौन उपाय घेर आए बदरी बैठे सोचे ब्रिज राम भक्तन को जाए को जाए को जाए लारे पिया को मनाए पिया को मनाए 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 हाँ पिया को मनाए लारे 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 पिया को मनाए जिया कसक मिटाए जिया कसक कसक मिटाए जिया कसक मिटाए घेर आए घेर आए घेर आए बैठे सोचे ब्रिजवान 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 सोचे ब्रिजवान सोचे ब्रिजवान सोचे ब्रिजवान
Absolutely spellbinding. Um, I can't think of a better way of paying your tribute already to your gurus and bringing together, years of practice. There's also something you've done for a very long period of time, paying tribute to Girija Devi through the famous film that you made. And my final question to you would be really that, having learned for so many years, having heard from you your views of remaining glued to perfecting the learning of a gharana, there's also lots of things about Girija Devi that may have personally drawn you to her very innate feminine strength of sustaining in the music industry. And there are so many other things. I've seen Girija Devi myself perform, and I've always been drawn to her extreme aura in the stage, whether it's her presence, her way of talking, or even outside the stage. Her presence was always very majestic. And there's that inner strength also comes from her own life, her own and those things mattered to you when you did the film, not just interviewing so many maestros around her, which is there in the film, I know. But if there's anything you want to tell our audience today, that what made you do the film, anything particular you want to say, or when you reflected over after finishing the film, after getting so many feedbacks, after getting all the laudits, what is it that you still feel that connected you to the film of Girija and working with her? What is it that drew you most? Is there anything you want to say today?
Yes, specifically, if I'd like to say that uh, the specific thing and important thing is that she lived her music. And it's not just music, means I would say music and life was her, like, means whatever she uttered through music, she lived that. Means
Yeah.
she tried to show us that very thing. कि एक सामान भी कहीं से रखना, if you want to put something from here to there should be something which is called music. And beyond that, we were always, when we went to her to learn, and to her we were very tayyar bache, okay, because we were we had that command and everything on khayal gaiki, or he's with the sitar thing and all. But the philosophy which she presented for music, it was like a new thing to us, means in a different way, in a whole. So that always.
And the most important thing is she didn't live a corporate like life.
Yeah.
Like nowadays kind of musicians do, right?
Yes. Yeah.
She was back her home at the quarter of SRA. She was very homely lady.
Yes. The Chandradi knows.
Didi knows everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So she would keep things underneath her bed. That okay, itna saman jayega kitchen mein, itna nahi jayega. So she was very much like a grandma, a ma, and sometimes she would also talk to you as if she is your she is your closest friend. She would ask, "Kya hua?
I
Mujhe
have
bata."
felt
Yes.
all throughout. I have felt that she, after my Guruji passed away, there was one person I could reach to whenever I needed to talk.
Yeah.
So Appa was
Yes.
always there. She's been like that to all of us.
So that was the most important thing, that okay, how could she be so simple and she's such
Yeah.
a lady. It was
Yeah.
In the
never.
whole film, we try to bring out that thought
Mm.
that she, from which thought she used to sing on stage, because on stage and
Yeah.
off the stage and off stage is a totally different story in everybody's life, I think.
Mm.
So what thought she used to live, and what thought she used to put behind her music and her expressions, her philosophy. So in the whole film of 2 hours and 15 minutes, we try to bring it out.
Mm.
And the
Yes.
canvas around, and all the people surrounding her, and their thoughts and ideas. Yeah, I
But
just
that's a
And
to hear from you straight away
listen to
that,
the
you know.
interviews, if you listen to the interviews given by the maestros, the
Yeah.
legends, you will see almost everybody has said almost the same thing about her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About her music, about her philosophy, about her love, about her relations with everybody, every musicians around. So
Yeah.
almost it was, surrounded with these things.
Mm. Great.
And primarily, if you see, as I said, that she was not a Girija Devi to us the way she was to the world. She was completely a different person.
Mm.
It's definitely, if you see her on stage, you'd be afraid of going near to her even, and seeing
Yes.
her power and the portraits she had. But when we went to her, we saw a different aura, a different filter, which
Because she was a big shelter.
big shelter. Like,
She was like a big, big banyan tree to
Mm.
us,
Mm.
who not only learned music from her, but learned everything life needs.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just
everything. Yeah.
not every student wants to do a film. So to put in all that time, to put in all the effort, there's something else going on. Like Chandra's doing the Kanan centenary, and it's a broad idea that is coming out. And if Kanan Sab lived, we would have done a film, I'm sure,
Yes.
around everything that's coming out. So you had that opportunity, even for Girija Devi, to think of the history and her legacy. So I was just
Yes.
thinking, when she appreciated that, she also had in mind that this is going to stay for a long time. The visual
Yeah.
image. Girija Devi on stage, people will remember in a way, but the film carries on, the story carries on for a long time. So, when she saw the film,
Though
her,
it was not an easy job to convince her for the film.
yeah, yeah, that's another
Yeah.
thing. Not every artist wants to be on the film, especially
She said that that's not your job. You're not filmmaker, so don't indulge in everything.
yeah,
You can't do whatever you like. So do only your riyaz and you just do music.
Yeah.
That's all. So music, that's all. You don't need to make any film on me.
Yeah.
And it took almost 3 months to get her permission.
convince. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's
And
another story that's coming out on the Kalakar forum. So that's fantastic.
so yeah, true. That is we had to convince her. That was a tough job, and Didi did means our Munidi Sudhadi actually did a good role in that.
Yeah, actually, she did break the ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That if they're saying so, that let's take what they have.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we got a good person with us. Madhu Chandra ji was very helping. She put all the money. Without her support, it would not have been
Not
possible.
only money and effort, she
Yes.
came every time. Whenever shooting happened,
Yes.
she came all the way from US, presented there by herself.
Yes.
It was a
The
great
film,
team
the
working.
film has the film has a very interesting value in today's context as well. When you are
Yeah.
talking about spirituality in the way Girija Devi taught her students, it was always
Yeah.
that to blend so many different styles, to bring out so many different ways that she even encountered religion. It's an interesting period of her life as well, from her own coming out. We are talking about a time when women are still struggling
That film is just
go
the
into
tip of
life.
the iceberg.
Yeah.
We got 60 hours of footage, raw footage of that film.
Mhm.
And out of that 60 hours, you can make another film.
We may do.
Tomato, yeah.
Be a future project
Sure.
Yes.
coming out of here.
True.
We do look forward to seeing you in London, because I just feel that there is so much to offer as a Jugalbandi. It's not the best justice on the digital forum, because there are so many things that we could have discussed, but it's, we don't have so much time, as well as possibility on the digital forum is also limited, because there are lots of fast things that you can sing, and how the fast and the speed works with the sitar is something that can only come out on stage, I feel. So the audience
Yeah.
request would be, play the
True.
fast beat, and let's see if the sitar can sustain without the tabla. That's another thing that,
Yes.
without the tabla, we are hearing you for so long, and it's so different, isn't it? It's so unique. So I wish you very well for everything in the future. Chandra, if you want to say something now, because
No, I
I'm
think we are almost towards the end of it. So as we were
yeah.
talking about our gurus, Appaji, Guruji, so I think it would be good if you could just present something little to dedicate to,
Mhm.
Just
our
something,
gurus, and then
few
we can.
minutes of your last session,
Yeah,
and
sure.
you've already had a beautiful presentation
To
now.
end with Guru Ki Tu Mahima, Didi can also sing at least
Absolutely, Guru
few.
ki to mahima adhik hai govindate. That's Appa's
Yeah.
That would be nice.
absolutely.
Okay. That's an emotional song, so forgive me if I go emotional. Sorry. Uh, that's a very touchy thing. Means I have cried a lot and stay on stage even performing.
To all the gurus, and yesterday was Teachers' Day, so uh, this is a very a song which actually shows the path. What is the image of guru in our culture, and actual meaning of guru? So it's so nicely written. So Guru ki to mahima adhik hai Govind te, गोविंद के किए जीव जीव आवत है धरातल पे गुरु उपदेश सो तो छूटे मोह फंद ते. So the author here kept Guru beyond Govind, even Lord, because Govind put us in all troubles, and Guru shows you the path to go back to Him. So this is about that, and we'll try to demonstrate as as beautifully as possible from our ends. गुरु की तो महिमा गुरु की तो महिमा अधिक है गोविंद के गुरु की तो महिमा अधिक है गोविंद के गोविंद के किए जीव आवत है धरातल पे गोविंद के किए जीव आवत है धरातल पे गुरु उपदेशो सो तो छूटे मोह पंद के गुरु उपदेशो सो तो छूटे मोह पंद के गुरु की तो महिमा गोविंद के किए जीव बस पड़े करमन के गोविंद के किए जीव बस पड़े करमन के गुरु के निवाजे, गुरु के निवाजे, सो तो फिर सूझते, गुरु के निवाजे, सो तो फिर सूझते, गुरु की तो महिमा 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 महिमा, गोविंद के किए जीव फंसे भव सागर में, गोविंद के किए जीव फंसे 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 भव सागर में। फंसे भव सागर में, सुंदर कहत गुरु बारे दुख द्वंद से, सुंदर कहत गुरु बारे दुख द्वंद से, गुरु बारे उबारे उबारे दुख दुख द्वंद दे, गुरु की तो महिमा अधिक है गोविंद थकत ना 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 थकत ना थकत ना थकत ना मुख गुरु करत बढ़ाए थकत ना मुख गुरु करत बढ़ाए गुरु के चरण गुरु के चरण में तो आनंद है आनंद है अति आनंद 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 है गुरु की तो महिमा अधिक है गोविंद से गुरु की तो महिमा गुरु की तो महिमा गुरु की तो महिमा
বাহ! Thank you, Devapriya. Thank you, Shamonnoy. It was a wonderful 40th episode of my Guru Shishya Parampara session. And thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for ending it with such lovely Guru
Thank
Vandana.
you for presenting us.
And thanks for carrying on
Thanks.
this beautiful
And
program with all Shangjukta Di and others, and with their support and everything. I'm sure that you have got a very good support from everyone, all the people who are actually sending their blessings, their love to you to continue this. So we also pray to all gurus, and we also, send us and Shangjukta Di and everybody else who are not here present, but
Kalakar Arts must go on for another 100 years.
yes.
this was a beautiful way of ending. I mean, the 40th session was very special. We normally don't do it in the morning, but it carries the flavor, the way you presented all the spiritual aspects, the tribute, talk of Girija Devi
Yes.
in this way. Pandit Anand's
We are
centenary,
privileged to talk about this.
the
Thank you.
celebration.
Thanks for asking every intricate, into detailed things, and we would like to share more definitely whenever time comes, and I'm sure we would meet in person soon also.
I'm sure. I'm just really looking forward to one of your journeys that you're going to make sure. Something's telling me you're coming here soon.
Thank you. Thank you, Didi.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot.
Thank
Very
you so
welcome.
much.
ভালো আমাদের দর্শকদের জন্য বলি, the next session that we will be having with Pandit Chiranjeev Chakraborty, who is London based, one of our good friends, have been working here for many years. That is coming up this Saturday. And from 23rd of this month, as I have been waiting eagerly for this session. We already had one with Acharya Pandit Jayanta Bose and his daughter and disciple, Dr. Mahiri Bose. The next one on the 23rd of September is going to be another very exciting session with a world famous guru who is considered as the coolest gurus ever, that his disciple has said yesterday. Pandit Kumar Bose with two of his disciples. One is a Kathak dancer, Sudatta P. Sudatta Kumari, and another one is a very upcoming young maestro, Chiranjit Mukherjee. So both of them, both the Shishyas will join their guru to celebrate a Guru Shishya Parampara in a different way that we have been doing so far. So very exciting things coming up. Shahnaz Begum Bithi is saying, waiting for 50th episode. Okay, very soon. So see you all again. And something Sanjukta has been planning while we had that live session today. She's been sending me messages. So there is something else coming up.
Yeah, it's just various ideas when we had the duo playing. You know, there's so many things they said, and I was just thinking instantly. So I'm sure we'll find something exciting that's not being announced here.
Yes,
But it will be
surprise. Let's keep it a surprise for now.
announced. Yeah.
Okay, everyone, stay well, stay tuned. See you soon again.
Thank you for inviting me.